Well, today we're going to be looking at a very important transit that's about to occur on December 6th, and that's going to be Mars going retrograde. Now, when Mars starts to go retrograde, it's actually going to stop, which they call stationing, at about 12 degrees of Cancer. And at that point, there's going to be a powerful energy release. So, December 6th is going to be a very important day for all of us. In this video today, we're going to be analyzing the effects of this transit for all 12 signs. So stay tuned if you're interested in knowing about your moon sign or your ascendant sign. For those of you that are new to my channel, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get all of my videos. I do videos on celebrities, royal family, current events, current transits. So if you like astrology, make sure you follow. I also practice a form of Vedic sidereal astrology. Of course, I have my own interpretation of it. So if you're wondering why the chart looks a little different, that's the reason there. If you're interested in a personal private reading, check down below for details. I do private Zoom readings through Calendly. And then also, if you're interested in a recorded reading, an audio recorded, please email me. So let's go ahead and talk about this transit that's about to happen on December 6th. This is a pretty big deal. It's going to kind of end the year with a bang, so to speak. So let's talk about it. So when Mars goes retrograde, it's going to be December 6th to 2024 to February 24th, 2025. It's going to be stationing at 12 degrees of Cancer on December 6th, and then it's going to start slowly going back. It's actually going to hover there for almost a couple of days. Now, it's first going to be retrograding through the sign of Cancer. And that's going to be between December 6th and January 21st of 2025. So there's a month and a half where it's going to be in the sign of Cancer, and then it's going to go backwards into the preceding sign, which is Gemini, and that's going to be between January 21st and February 24th. Now, we're going to be focused on the impact of its travel through Cancer right now, especially because of that station point, which is going to be at 12 degrees Cancer. And then we'll do another video when it goes direct in the sign of Gemini in February. So we'll make another video, but we're going to focus on the sign of Cancer and what that really represents for the next couple of months for a lot of us, because it's going to be a very powerful transit. Now, I'm also going to talk about some of the aspects for each sign as well. So let me bring up the chart just to show you all where Mars is going to be on that day on December 6th. This is a chart of December 6th where all the planets are. As you can see, Mars is right over here, almost about 12 degrees in Cancer. And it's going to be, when it goes retrograde, it's going to be starting to go backwards from Cancer. And then it's going to end up in the sign of Gemini in January. Okay. But the first part of the transit is going to be Cancer. And remember, this point, that 12-degree point, is going to be very significant. Now, if you have any planets within about 3 degrees of this 12 degrees of Cancer, really pay attention, because this is going to be a very powerful transit to you. Also, if you have any planets, I'm going to show you the signs that it's going to be aspecting throughout this retrograde in Cancer as well. So let me number the houses for you all. Oops. I was about to draw a 6 there. 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there's with Mars, there's going to be the 4th aspect, the 7th aspect, and the 8th aspect in Vedic astrology. That's what they look at. So first, Mars is going to be aspecting the sign of Libra. It's going to be aspecting Capricorn over here. And then it's going to be aspecting Aquarius over here. Now, if you have any planets in Libra, in Capricorn, or in Aquarius, you want to pay special attention to those as well. we're going to be briefly going through some of the aspects because that's the outgoing energy where Mars is glancing, which is called a drishti in Vedic astrology. Now, the other thing I want to bring up is the most powerful aspects of Mars are going to be the fourth aspect and the eighth aspect. Those are the 100%, what they call 100% aspects. Okay. The seventh aspect, which is going to be in Capricorn, that's a lesser aspect. So it's not as powerful. I believe it's 25%. It's not as powerful as the fourth and eighth aspect. So these are the houses 4 and 8 from it are going to be the most powerful aspects. So let's go ahead and jump into the interpretation here of the 12 signs. Let me clean this up here. And let's go to the slides here. So we're going to begin here. So when we do look at each sign, I want you to be aware it's important to look at both signs. So you want to look at your ascendant sign and you want to look at the moon sign. With some people, the moon sometimes dominates. With some people, the ascendant sign seems to dominate. So the best course of action is look at both of those horoscopes to kind of get an analysis of what's going on in your life. All right, let's go ahead and jump into Aries right here. Now, if you are Aries moon or Aries ascendant, this reading is going to be for you. Now, Mars is going to be transiting your fourth house of Cancer. Mars is mixed for you, so it's the first lord and the eighth lord, so there's some beneficial aspects to it, but also has that eighth house a lordship. So for example, the transit through the fourth house, because it's the eighth lord, it could represent some sort of changes happening. Sometimes people can move. There could be a change in your domestic environment. Mars can cause and sometimes generate some conflict within the home environment because Mars, it's the eighth lord and it can kind of cause some sort of upheaval for you. Now, so let's talk about some of the aspects as well. The fourth aspects of Mars is going to be on your seventh house. This is going to be affecting your relationships, especially if you are married or if you have business partnerships. This could cause some frictions. It's a Kuja dosha of sorts. So you want to make sure you're giving each other plenty of space, but it also can cause, it also can be an impetus for a lot of work to get done within relationships. So if you have a business partnership, it actually could be that you're very productive during this time. You just have to have the proper outlet for that Mars energy. Now let's talk about the seventh aspect. It's going to be on the 10th house. Mars is going to be helping you in your career. It's going to be giving you more ambition. There could be an increase there. So, for example, a promotion, because the eighth house can represent a change that's taking place. So, it could actually be beneficial there. It is your first Lord Aries. So, regardless, Mars is helpful, even though it does have that eighth house of transformation. The eighth aspect is going to be on your 11th house. And this is going to be a change in the way you earn money. There could be some changes in friendships and friendship circles. Also, you may feel driven to investigate online businesses, things like that. But it's really transforming those kind of things. 11th house represents salary and revenues. So this could be giving you a boost. It actually could be very helpful because it's revitalizing that house. So good luck, Aries. If you are Taurus ascendant or Taurus moon, this reading is going to be for you. Now, Mars is considered a somewhat malefic planet for you, Taurus, just because it rules the 7th house and the 12th house, and it doesn't rule one of the trine houses. But I feel like it's a mild malefic with the 7th and 12th house, so it's not a bad malefic here. Let's talk about the transits though, because Mars is still going to be representing drive, ambition, change, those kind of things. It's going to be going through your third house of Cancer. So, for example, if you do have siblings, there could be some difficulty with siblings or even teammates or office workers in the workplace. There could be some sort of friction because Mars can bring about friction. There might be a desire to go on some short-term trips during this time because that's what the third house represents. Also, this could cause aggravation within your mindset since third house is a mental mentality. So you want to be making sure that you're meditating and taking time to, calm the mind at various periods during the day. The fourth aspect is going to be on your sixth house. Now, because Mars is the 12th Lord, you really want to take care of your health during this period. So there could be a revitalization in wanting to start a new health routine or a new diet. There's definitely going to be a focus in Mars. It can give you the energy to do this because Mars conquers things. So Mars is actually very beneficial in that respect. The seventh aspect of Mars is going to be on your ninth house. There's going to be pursuit of higher education or even maybe studying philosophy or studying religion may come to the fore during this time. You may want to check on your father or father figures if they're still around in your life because Mars can it can bring losses because it is the 12th lord. Now let's talk about the eighth aspect, which is going to be on your 10th house. The eighth aspect represents transformation. So career transformations are likely during this period, especially in December and January. You want to avoid being impulsive at work, but this could be a great period of ambition. So promotions, change, making the changes that you need to make, or even Mars can give you the impetus to leave, for example, a dead end job. So Mars could give you that drive and ambition to do it, even though it may be motivated by something like anger, since it's in the sign of Cancer and it's debilitated. So good luck, Taurus. I wish you luck in all of your endeavors. If you are Gemini moon or Gemini ascendant, this reading is going to be for you. Mars is considered malefic for you, Gemini, because it rules the sixth house. The 11th house isn't malefic necessarily, but the sixth house can bring up conflict and hard work. So let's talk about this because this could be it could be kind of a difficult transit if you don't navigate the energies right. So it's going to be transiting your second house of Cancer, which can represent your family of origin, your finances, your speech, your saved assets. So, for example, with your family of origin, and this could be the people that you grew up with, mother, father, stepfather, brothers, sisters. It kind of includes all those people if they're still around in your life. It can bring up some sort of drama or some sort of gossip or some sort of issues there. So you want to be careful and be mindful of those relationships in your life. It can bring some upheaval in your finances and saved assets because it is the sixth lord. So you want to be careful and really carefully review all your the money you have saved, your accounts, those things, and be careful about debt since sixth house can represent getting into credit card debt and those kind of things. It's going to be aspecting your fifth house, your eighth house, and your ninth house. We're going to go through each one very quickly here. The fourth aspect is on your fifth house. Fifth house does represent children. So if you do have children, like if they're young, they could be overly active children. So, you want to make sure you have things for them to do. If they're adult children, they could just be like really irritable during this time or even be ambitious if they know how to use the energy. If you're single, this is a really good time for romance since Mars is considered the Karaka of pursuit. It's the Karaka of the hunter. So, if you're wanting the date, there could be a drive to do that during this period. There could also be extra creativity during this time if you put in the work. Now, the sixth house isn't always bad. The sixth house can just represent hard work. Like the old saying is not nose to the grindstone, Gemini. So if you put in the work, you could actually produce some artistic works during this time, whether it be painting, music, poetry, writing, all those things will be enhanced. Let's talk about the seventh house aspect. The seventh aspect is going to be on your eighth house. This is the house of rebirth. Now, this is the weaker aspects, so I don't want you to get too worried about this one. There could be problems with things like taxes, inheritance, insurance payouts, and difficulty with in-laws if you're married and your in-laws are still around. So you got to be careful with this house. But this can also provide energy in if you're involved in like meditation classes, yoga classes, kundalini yoga. It could be good for those kind of things, but it's not usually as good for more mundane things. Let's talk about the eighth aspect on the ninth house. Because it's the sixth lord again, there could be difficulties with father or father figures. Sometimes sixth house can be related to health issues. So if they're still around in your life, you may want to check on them, make sure everything's okay. The good thing about Mars aspect in the ninth house is there could be a pursuit of religious study, philosophy study, and international travel. But I did say with caution because it's the sixth lord. So if you do have to travel internationally, it's okay, but due diligence. So if you're going to a country that maybe has more crime, make sure you take a lot of precautions because the sixth house can represent conflict, crime, and those things. So be careful if you do travel, Gemini, internationally. Thank you and good luck, Gemini. If you are Cancer ascendant or Cancer moon, this reading is going to be for you. Now, Cancer, Mars is actually a really good planet for you. It rules the fifth house and the 10th house. It's a benefic planet. So, this is actually going to be a good transit for you. It's considered a yoga karaka for your sign. So Mars is going to be going through your first house. So during this time, this is going to be like there's a lot of intense energy. You're going to feel like you just want to go out and you want to do things. You might feel very motivated. You might feel like working out. You might feel like just doing things and just running around on and doing whatever just being on the move is going to be the theme during this time. There could be a change of for example career promotion or something along those lines because this is a really good transit for you. The first house can represent career promotions, career recognition, so that's really good. You may want to be careful though, because of all this energy. You may be perceived as aggressive by people. So you got to be careful and you got to tamper this energy because remember, Mars is debilitated in the sign of Cancer. Let's talk about some of the aspected houses. The fourth aspect is going to be on your fourth house. So there could be some sort of like work on your house. So, for example, construction work, rebuilding. There could be a lot of energy in the household, like lots of people visiting, just a lot of activity happening. Again, Mars isn't a bad planet for you, so it's nothing too much to worry about, but there could just be a lot of activity in the house during this time. There may be a desire to reconnect with your roots as well. So that could be, reconnecting with your mother or reconnecting with your your nationality or your cultural people. Those kind of things could be definitely motivating during this time. There's also an aspect on your seventh house. You got to be careful. There could be like some too much Mars energy if you're married in the relationship. So, it's a mild Kuja dosha. Remember, the seventh aspect is only 25% aspect, but it's still going to be there. Just make sure that you have an outlet for that energy, exercise, yoga, meditation, those kind of things. The eighth aspect is going to be on your eighth house. There's a lot of transformative just energy during this time. And you could also be doing a lot of shadow work and heal a lot of past issues or past life issues. So this is really good for if you're interested in like hypnosis and past life regressions and getting astrology readings. All those things are highlighted during this time. So this could be a significant transformative time for you, Cancer. Good luck for you. If you are Leo ascendant or Leo moon, this reading is for you. Leo, Mars is actually a really good planet for you. So this should be a really good transit overall. Mars, it rules the fourth house and the ninth house. It's considered a yoga karaka for your sign. It's going to be transiting through your 12th house, which is it's a very interesting transit. So for example, there could be a lot of introspection, spiritual growth, hidden matters. Kind of a need for rest during this time, but also you may feel the itch to do some sort of international travel because the 12th house can represent international travel or going on spiritual retreat. But it's interesting because Mars can be like motivating you in a Mars kind of way, like a hurry up and meditate kind of mentality, which is interesting. But Mars is still a very important planet for yogis and especially Kundalini yoga. So you may want to do like spiritual exercises that are more energy. So for Kundalini yoga, asanas, those kind of things where you're moving your body. Let's talk about the fourth aspect on the third house. Now, this could actually be a lot more communication happening with your siblings, teamwork. If you work in an office environment or a team, it actually could be very productive, and a lot of busy work during this time because Mars is really adding an impetus there. But there could actually be it could actually help you earn more money during this time if you either own a business or you work in an office environment because of all this extra drive and ambition. The seventh aspect is going to be on your sixth house, which could be a focus on your health. But also, the aspect on the sixth house is good for defeating enemies. So, I do want to say that Mars will be helping you there. You may want to make sure that you don't, have burnout or overwork yourself during this time because of this aspect. The eighth aspect is going to be on your seventh house. So there's a transformation of your relationships and partnerships. Now, it doesn't mean like if you're married or in a relationship, you're going to break up, but it represents there's a change in maybe how you do things, a change in how you understand each other. And there could be some changes in, for example, like how you perceive things as a couple. So this could be actually a very positive thing. It could actually bring a revitalization to the relationship since it is a positive planet for you, Leo. But Mars energy, just remember to have an outlet for it. Thank you, and good luck for you, Leo. Good luck. If you are Virgo ascendant or Virgo moon, this reading is going to be for you. Uh, Mars, it rules your third and eighth house. It's considered malefic because both of those houses are malefic. So some of the aspects of Mars, it can create a lot of impetus and ambition, but also there could be some sort of disturbances as well because of its malefic nature. So let's go ahead and talk about some of these things. The eighth house can represent transformation, though, so it's not necessarily bad. The transit in your 11th house, it shows that there's a transformation in how you earn money. There could be a transformation in some of your friendships. There could be a change of social circles. But it can represent a transformation in, for example, if you have a business, you could be transforming the networks that you're associating with or the ways you earn money, and it still could be beneficial. The third and eighth house doesn't necessarily mean you can't earn extra money. It just means there's a transformation that's happening. Let's talk about some of the other houses that are being aspected, Virgo. So the fourth aspect is going to be on your second house. It's interesting that both of the money houses, 11 and 2, are both being influenced during this Mars transit. So there's a change in your finances that's happening overall. Now, the fourth aspect happening on your second house, the second house represents your family of origin. So the people that you grew up with, like mother, brother, if any of them are still around in your life, it can bring up some issues. So you want to make sure you're checking up on your family members, because the eighth house, because Mars is the eighth lord, it can bring up some sort of upheaval or some sort of problems there. There may be a revitalization of your like financial portfolio. So you want to be careful and just really go through your finances during this time because Mars can bring up some sort of upheaval. The seventh aspect is going to be on your fifth house. So, for example, if you do have children, they could be like overactive. Whether they be, younger children or adult children, there could be, some, like if you have adult children, they could be irritable because of the Mars aspect. But the aspect on your fifth house is good for creative endeavors. So you might have a lot of creative output during this time, which is very positive. The eighth aspect is going to be on your sixth house. I do want to focus on this. There could be a real change in your health routines. There could be a refocus on your health with this, especially December 6th, when this transit starts, there could be this idea of really wanting to change health routines, diet, things like that. It's interesting. This transit's going to be happening during New Year's, so you may be taking advantage of this for like a New Year's resolution, which is Mars is going to help give you a lot of impetus and drive and ambition to really start that New Year's resolution on a good note. So good luck to you, Virgo. If you are a Libra ascendant or Libra moon, this reading is going to be for you. Now, Mars, it's considered a malefic planet, but I don't consider it too much of a malefic. The reason why they consider malefic is because the second and the seventh houses are considered Maraka houses, which are the houses that represent an end of an incarnation. But they are not the sixth house, the eighth house, and the 12th house. So I kind of considered it, if it is malefic, it's mildly malefic. Really, what Mars is going to be doing is it's going to be adding ambition, impetus, drive. It can be represent conflict, but it's going to be giving you a lot of drive as well. So, for example, the transit's going to be happening in your 10th house of Cancer, which could actually be very good for your career. So, you could actually have a lot of drive and ambition in your career. You could feel like you have all this energy and you can out compete people in the office. You can get the promotion that maybe you aren't able to get. You can interview very well because you have all this enthusiasm. That's what Mars is helping you to have. And Mars is the karaka of the hunter, so you get what you're getting what you're pursuing. So that's really good. There could actually be positive rewards coming out of your career during this time. Now, the downside of this is you could have like irritable bosses or irritable coworkers with this 10th house going through your 10th house. It's going to be going through it's going to be the aspect in your first house, which is good for being on the move. So if you're somebody that likes to exercise, or you like to be on the move, or you can't stand still, this is a really good aspect for you. This is really going to add a lot of impetus to your workouts, to being on the move. And first house also is a career house as well. So the first and 10th house. So again, it's helping you get what you want to achieve as far as your career goes. The seventh aspects on your fourth house, there could be a lot of activity happening in your home life, a lot of people visiting home. There could be a renovation project that's taking place. Mars represents construction projects. So if you think about like hammers and tile saws, well, that's all Mars. So there may be some sort of work going on in your house or your residence during this time. It could even represent a move of residence if you're already kind of in that energy at the moment. Let's talk about the eighth house, the eighth aspect on the fifth house. There's a change in your creativity. So, for example, the fifth house can represent creative works. So, for example, if you're an artist, there could be you're really having a lot of output during this time. If you have children, the children could be very active during this time, because remember, the eighth aspect is 100% aspect. So if they're younger children, they could be overactive. If they're adult children that you have, they could be irritable, and they could be going through a lot of turmoil and transformations in their lives. So you might want to check on them. The fifth house also represents dating and courtship. So if you're single, this could actually be a really good time to revitalize your dating life. Since the planets that represent romance and courtship are Venus and Mars. So one of those planets or both of those planets are good to have as far as either pursuing love or attracting love. So Mars is going to be pursuing it. So good luck, Libra. I wish you all the luck in your endeavors. If you are Scorpio ascendant or Scorpio moon, this reading is going to be for you. Now, Mars, it's a mixed planet for you because it does rule your first house because you're Scorpio, but it rules the sixth house as well. So it's a mixed planet. So there's a lot of in detail we have to go through with this because it isn't entirely good and it isn't entirely bad. But because it does rule your first house, I tend to think it's more good than bad. So it's going to be transiting your ninth house of Cancer. So there could be a real focus on higher education, travel, spiritual pursuits. If you do have if your father's still around or you have important father figures in your life, you may want to check in with them, make sure they're okay. Because Mars is the sixth lord, it could represent like difficulty in that person's life. So you may want to check on them. Or it could just mean they're irritable as well because of it's the sixth house can just represent like a little bit of conflict. So be careful there. The fourth aspect is going to be on your 12th house. There could be a focus on spiritual discipline, spiritual kind of like doing those kind of things and finding inner peace. The 12th house can also represent international travel. So that's actually a really positive thing about this transit. There's also going to be an aspect on your third house. So if you have siblings or you work in an office environment, they could be a little bit difficult because again, Mars is the sixth lord. But the good thing about it is I feel like because it's your first lord, you can outcompete the coworkers. So there's a good aspect to this as well. The eighth aspect is going to be happening on your fourth house. There could be some really big changes in your home life and your emotional life as well, because that aspect is going to be a transformative aspect, the eighth aspect. There could be a lot of releasing of old baggage or old issues that have been preventing happiness. So this could be good for you. Scorpio, you're so reflective. So this could be actually a really beneficial transit for you. Good luck to you, Scorpio. If you are Sagittarius ascendant or Sagittarius moon, this reading is going to be for you. Now, Sagittarius, Mars is a mixed planet for you because it rules the fifth house and the 12th house. But I will say the 12th house is the most mildly malefic house. So this is actually a pretty good planet overall for you. Let's talk about it's going to be transiting your eighth house, which is a very explosive type of house. There could be a lot of intense events and a lot of intense energy during this period. You may just want to, for example, eighth house can represent things like in laws, it can represent shared finances, secrets, transformation. Now, it is important to avoid anything risky during this time because the eighth house is a very volatile house. So you want to make sure that if you can, to make, to try to stabilize your life and not take any risk during this time, like speculative endeavors and those kind of things. The eighth, traveling through the eighth house, it can bring irritability to like in-laws, and it can bring some difficulty to the marital finances because it is the 12th lord as well. So there could be some losses there. The other aspects are going to be the fourth aspect on your 11th house. Again, because it's the 12th lord, there could be some salary or financial issues there. So, for example, there could be a change in how you earn money, or sometimes in the worst case scenarios, this could represent like a pay cut or something like that. So that's one of the negative aspects of this transit. The seventh aspect's on your second house. So it's affecting two of your money houses, Sagittarius. So this may be a time for you to really get conservative, and really tighten the belt so that you don't really face a lot of financial losses. But the awareness of you're in this astrological situation can actually, help you to navigate this time. So this is actually really good that you're listening to this reading and you're able to plan a little bit better the upcoming energies. Now, the eighth aspect is going to be on your third house. There could be, then this is going to be the good thing about this. There could be the start of a new business during this time. If you work in an office environment, the third house does represent a coworker. So there could be like irritable coworkers. And also if you have siblings, there could be irritable siblings. But on business, I feel like there could be a change of business strategy or starting a new business. So this could actually be good in that if you think of it that way. So good luck, Sagittarius. If you are Capricorn ascendant or Capricorn moon, this reading is going to be for you. Mars rules your fourth house and 11th house. It's mixed, but I will say they're not malefic. They're not one of the Dashtina houses, so it's not that bad. So let's talk about it. The fourth house represents home, and the 11th house represents like income, royalties. So it actually can be a money maker. Mars can make money for you. So Mars is going to be transiting the seventh house. Now, when Mars is transiting the seventh house, if you're married or you're in a long-term relationship, this can bring like irritability into the relationship because there's too much Mars energy. So you just want to make sure that you're getting plenty of time to exercise, to go out in the nature, to really have a place to expend that energy. And then your relationships will be just fine. So this isn't something that you can't handle. But there can be some difficulties. And just like it says in the slide, be patient with others and avoid unnecessary conflicts because there might be a lot of just this restless energy. That's what Kuja dosha is, restless energy in marriage or even business partnerships, because seventh house can represent business partnerships. Let's talk about some of the other aspects. By the way, the seventh house is a career house, and it can actually bring you like a pay raise or a promotion. So this could be positive for your career. The fourth aspect's on your 10th house. So there's a balancing of professional ambitions. I feel like this is good if it's on your career house because it's going to be giving you more ambition, and because it's the 11th lord, more money or more opportunities to earn money, especially if you're in like a sales job or a commission based job. This could be more money coming in during this time. The seventh aspect's on your first house. So, for example, the first house can represent having so much energy where you're just going to be running around a lot. So, if you like exercise, this may be a good time to go walking, hiking, martial arts, all those kind of things. You're going to have a lot of energy, and you could be doing a lot during this time. The eighth aspect's on your second house. There could be a transformation of your finances, but also a transformation. And this is where you got to keep in good contact with your family of origin. You may want to check up on your family. The second house is the people you grew up with. So if they are still around in your life, you may want to give them a phone call, because the eighth aspect can bring some sort of upheaval into the family of origin's life. However, I will say that the second house, I feel like this is overly. It's going to be beneficially overall for your finances, Capricorn. So I feel like this is good. So good luck, Capricorn. If you are Aquarius ascendant or Aquarius moon, this reading is going to be for you. Now, Mars is the third and the 10th lord. It's partially malefic. It's not that malefic. The third house is considered like a cruel house, but mildly cruel. So let's talk about some of these transits here. It's going to be transiting your sixth house, which could be, for example, because it rules your 10th house, it could show working a lot of overtime, because sixth house could represent overtime work, like being overworked, but also there could be a focus on your health and health routines, focus on change of diet. All this stuff can represent sixth house. So this could actually be a really beneficial time if you're looking to do like an upgrade, especially we're approaching New Year's, which is the time of a New Year's resolution. The fourth aspect is going to be on your ninth house. So you may want to travel during this time, and you may have a lot of energy to take some extra classes or study philosophy or study spirituality. Ninth house represents father and father figures. So they could be irritable during this time. You may want to, give them a little distance or check up on them and see if they're all right. The seventh aspect is going to be on your 12th house. So there could be this desire to really to go on retreat, to really assess your spirituality. But Mars is kind of like a really potent energy. So it would be good for like spiritual practices like Kundalini yoga, things where you're moving your body. The eighth aspect is going to be on the first house. So there's going to be a lot of extra energy just in the body in general. You're going to notice that you just have so much energy and you can accomplish a lot. The good thing about the eighth aspect on the first house, there could be like career promotions that really, propel you upward with the ambition and with all this. Remember, Mars is a planet of manifestation. It gets things done. It's not just like one of these planets where it's just like in the thought realm. This is physical realm. It brings results. So take advantage of this, Aquarius. Good luck. If you are Pisces ascendant or Pisces moon, this reading is going to be for you. Mars is a good planet for you. I mean, it rules the ninth house and the second house. It's a really good planet. Now, it's going to be going through your fifth house. There's going to be a lot of activity. Like if you have children, they're going to be very active during this time. If they're young children, they could be overly active. Be careful there. If you have adult children, it just means, they got a lot going on during this time in their lives. You may be very creative. So it's a really good time to like write a book, paint, produce any work of art, and be creative to your heart's content. It's really good during this period. If you are single, this is a really good time to date because Mars is one of the planets. When we talk about love, Mars and Venus are the planets. So Mars is the planet of pursuit, of being able to date and really pursue and get things done in the dating realm. So if you're single, it's really good. The fourth aspect is going to be on your eighth house. So for example, there could be actually a good thing for shared assets. So if you're married, there could be an increase in the marital estate, which is very positive. However, there could be some, minor issues with like in-laws because, Mars is kind of bringing in that irritable energy. So you may want to be careful with like overly ambitious or overly pushy in-laws. The seventh aspect is going to be on your 11th house. This is really good. This is just a good transit for finances. The 11th house is how you earn your money. The 11th house is going to be bringing you that salary increase. It's going to be bringing you more money, more sources of looking for revenue because Mars is the pursuit karaka. It's the hunter. So it's going to show you ways of how to do that. Now, friends may be a little bit difficult because 11th house represents friendship circles. So there could be some irritability there. So you want to be careful. However, Mars will also help you make more friends because you just have all this energy. The eighth aspect is going to be on your 12th house. There could be a focus on spirituality as well during this time. But the 12th house also represents old subconscious patterns and fears that you may have. So you might be confronting some of these and really healing some things. Also, the 12th house, I do have to mention this, can represent international travel, Pisces. So you may get the travel bug. And I feel like this is a positive type of traveling since it's your second and ninth lord. So you might have this itch to travel during this time, Pisces. Good luck to you, Pisces. Well, that concludes the 12 signs, the horoscopes there for the 12 signs. I'm expecting that this is just going to be an incredibly transformative period for all of us. So I'm really excited about this period. The downside about this transit is it is in the sign of Cancer and it's debilitated in the sign of Cancer, which can show that Mars is at a low vibratory state. So when we look at the world, and I may make another video about this, the impact on the world realm, it can be difficult because Mars can bring up a lot of anger. It can bring up a lot of suppressed anger, passive aggressive tendencies. So this could be difficult in our relationships or on the international realm. But for a lot of us, Mars is going to give us a lot more ambition. It's going to help make changes in our lives. Some of us, our lives have been so stagnant. What Mars does is Mars brings in that welcome opportunity for change. So Mars can actually be a very good planet in those respects. And Mars is the planet of actual physical manifestation. It will bring you the things you want in a physical way. So I hope that everyone has a wonderful Mars transit. And really, this could give you a lot of drive and a lot of ambition to really take the bull by the horns and really get some things done. So thank you. And I will see you all in the next video.